Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to week 3, the end of week 3, Devtoberfest, and it's Fun Friday. It's also, of course, Cloud Native Development Day as well, and we've already had an awesome session this morning, an hour before this one. I hope you caught that, and welcome to those who've joined for this first of 2 Fun Friday events. Basically, it's the same thing. It's about playing a game together and just relaxing and going into the weekend. I think I can see my lovely friends and colleagues on the live stream as well. So we've got Michelle Mowdy and also Nico Schoenteich. Welcome in. I mean, I'm saying welcome into you. You've done all the hard work for this. I'm just the person with the mouth, right? So I'm gonna start off by giving us an overview of what we're going to do in this next hour. And then I've got some questions for Nico, because basically what we're going to do in the next hour is play a game. A web-based game. And Michelle's organized a sort of a tournament style. I think the phrase is bracket style. I'd never even heard of that until we started to organize this. Bracket style,
yeah.
What is that? Anyway, we'll find out from Michelle what that is. Where we play a game and we play it against each other, and there's like a little tournament. Hey, Javier, welcome, good morning. And 2 people play each other, and then the winner goes through, and the winner goes through, and the winner goes through, and so on. Right? That's what bracket game means. The bracket thing means. I think. I don't know. But what game are we going to be playing? We're going to be playing, as the title suggests, a game called the Flying Money Game. And good morning, everything. Good morning, everything. You know what, Javier? I'm going to use that as my next hands-on SAP Dev greetings phrase. Good morning, everything. And from Lars, happy time zone. We've got some awesome phrases. So Nico and Michelle, welcome. So Nico, why don't you tell us about the game that we're all going to be playing?
Yeah, the game that we're going to be playing is the Flying Money Game. And I think I'll just start sharing my screen.
Cool.
And here it is. That's the Flying Money Game. If you have a trained eye, you might see directly what kind of application this is and how it's been built or what it looks like. This, of course, is the new Horizon Dark theme of SAP Fiori. And I built this game in UI5. So I don't know, maybe that makes it the first browser game ever built in UI5. I don't know. I haven't seen any other before, but I'll just go through the game a little bit, just show how it works and what it is. And and then we can also, the source code for the game is on GitHub, so I can share the source code and you can ask questions, and we can dive into the technical bit as well. So on the start screen right here, I will just register with a nickname, Nico. The tournament is paused, so we can see like there's no active tournament, all right? But let's launch the practice mode. And can we? All right, here we go. So I don't know if you can see this properly, but I can hit start and jump, and then I get 2 points, right? So there's a very famous game that this is based on. I won't say the name, but obviously the game of this thing right here is to jump, and then the gravity will pull you down, and you go to click and jump up again, and that kind of navigate between the chandelier and the machines at the slot machines at the bottom. So I'll just do it once again. So this is practice mode right here. So my scores won't be posted to the database. But let's see what I can do.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, it does remind me of a game. I've not played it, but I've seen it. It's to do with birds, isn't it? I think
yes,
that's part of the title.
Exactly. So 10. We'll see. I'm getting nervous. My finger.
So there we go. I can see your points going up right at the top of the screen there. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is a practice mode. I have a very tiny portion of the screen shared here, so the browser window is very tiny. But usually you should see all of it without scrolling.
So that looks awesome. The thing is, right? It's the game design is beautiful. It's crisp. There's a couple of things that sort of give me a clue as to that make me think I might know what that might be written in, right? First of all, there's that sort of the throbbing 3 dots the port, the sort of the weight thing. Can't remember what it's called. But
Busy
also,
indicator.
yeah, that thing there. But there's also the little divider between the left-hand side of the game and the actual game itself, and that seems a little bit familiar. Can you give us a clue as to what it might be, or tell us what it might be?
Yeah, that is the flexible column layout, and the whole thing is written in UI5. So
that is absolutely super. I mean,
cool.
that is absolutely superb. Talking of, I don't think there have been many games written in UI5. I do remember one. I went to the open source convention with some of the UI5 team back in 2014 over in west coast of the US, San Diego. It might have been, I don't know, can't remember. And we had a stand there, SAP stand. We talked about UI5, and there was Pac-Man written in UI5.
Oh, cool.
But I think this is, to my knowledge, only the second game. Well, this is only the second game I've ever seen written in UI5, which is absolutely awesome to see. I'm going to dive in straight away because I'm dying to know, because you've got registered players here, which sort of suggests there might be, some sort of persistent storage in the back end. What's going on here? How are you managing storage? And if I were to join this, I mean, I have joined this, and I've seen that you were playing and Michelle was playing and I've been playing. How does that all work?
Yeah, so we have a Google Firebase, Firebase Firestore behind this. So that's what gives it the live connection feeling. So when someone now registers, I will see that in my list here without having to refresh or refetch the data. It will just be there instantly. So there we go.
There we go. In fact, yeah, Michelle
just joined.
Wow, that was magic. Yeah. Exactly.
Amazing. So you're using normal UI5 data binding, but you're not using a JSON. Well, I mean, you might be. I mean, for UI5 aficionados, there are different models. There's OData model, JSON model. There's a resource model as well, and so on. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you sort of glued together the Firebase backend with one of these model mechanisms, or did you write your own?
So I didn't write my own model mechanism. So let me just share a little piece of the code here. So this is the web app, right? And I have a Firebase file here, and this is where I don't worry that I show keys here. That is perfectly fine. That's what you will see in the app anyway. And so I have a initialize Firebase method here, and that grabs the global Firebase model and initializes the app, right? And creates a new JSON model. And this Firebase, this global object here is available because I imported it in the index.html here. So this right here makes the global Firebase model object available, and then I have a file that kind of initializes it, and that method right here gets called on the on-init of the component. So when I initialize my component where the UI5 app is in, I'll call this initialize Firebase thing here and set a new model that is called Firebase. And that makes the whole Firebase model available in the entire component.
Fantastic. So does that also mean then that I know that Firebase emits events when data changes on the back end? Let's say Michelle's just joined, for example, or Michelle plays a game and gets 10 points or whatever. I'm sure you're going to get more than 10 points, Michelle. But
we'll see. That
will then cause an event to fire in Firebase, and then you catch that event and then update the JSON model. Is that how you're doing this?
Exactly. So you can listen to the Firebase backend. Where are we? So that is the users.
This code looks so neat and beautiful.
Thanks. So we have the user collection here. So I grab the user collection from Firebase, and then I have the on snapshot thing that I can call, and that just means listen to all the changes that happen in that data collection. And there's also a snapshot without the on, and that's just, give me the data once. But if you listen to the on snapshot thing, so that gets fired every time something changes in the backend. And then I can just get the users here, write it in an object, and then set a model set a model on the component that's called users, And then I have the thing that the list that you see here, where's my, then you see this list right here is bound to that JSON model.
Fabulous. And so the on snapshot is like this, like the highest level, the root node, sort of give me anything and everything that happens type thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's a little bits or little parts of the app where I say, oh, give me the score once. But for all the global things like the users, the scores, and also the tournaments, I constantly listen to those events just to make sure that if someone ends the tournament in the back end, then it will be ended in the front end as well.
Yeah, gotcha. And tell us a little bit about the front end, the actual UI. I mean, you mentioned the flexible column layout, but there are let me say it this way: there are UI5 controls in there that I don't recognize.
You mean the this
I think
emoji in the background and all that?
I'm going to say, officially, I think there are, we could do with more chandeliers in enterprise apps.
Yeah. So the game itself, so everything that's kind of in the red box here, that's a UI5 custom control. And obviously, I not only used the UI5 controls that you see in the documentation, but I also just used browser elements like just images and divs and all that. So to kind of move the background and have new things pop up and all that. But that's all possible within the UI5 custom control. So
if anybody's looking to understand it, I mean, there are some really good tutorials and there's some great documentation in the UI5 SDK about custom controls. But if you're like me and like to read from different sources and have different examples, I'm guessing that in fact Ahmed has just asked about the source code as well, right? And Michelle's going to share a link to the source code in the chat, but this is going to be a great example of how to build a custom control, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's great. I don't know.
No pressure at all. But no, seriously. I mean, this looks amazing.
Yeah. So with a UI5 custom control, you basically just you create a control directory and put your control file in there. And this is now called the game control. And then I can consume that in a view. So in the game view, you can see right here, that's using the game control. So the name here matches, right? The file name of the control and how I import it here. And then in here, we have 2 or 3 major parts. So first is the metadata. So here I could pass in things that I want to be available as a property on the control. So if I want to have something like, I don't know, so maybe color or like background color, right? This is just something I make up. Right. And I want this to be blue. And now I want my control to do something with that value because it's a custom control, right? Like I have to define all that myself. Then I would do this in the metadata here. I'm not sure about the syntax really, but I think it's something like just have background color here and then do something with it. I don't know that by heart.
Right. Yeah.
I would check the documentation, but that's the place where you would do that. Let me just and let me also just undo this right here. Yep. Okay. And then this is the first part, the render, and then the metadata, and then comes the render, and that basically says, okay, I want to open a div, then I want to put the whole control in there, and then I want to close the div again. So that's just, creating the wrapper around my custom control. So my whole custom control will be inside one div. And then in the on after rendering, that's where the actual creating the custom control happens. So I get the view, I get the component, IHN model, like the basic things. And then I create the background, I create the game wrapper, I create the moving background, but all as native HTML elements. So nothing UI5 specific at that point. And then I just append the things to the game wrapper on and on. So that's how I create the structure of the app. But then also I use, for example, a VBox, which is a UI5 control, right? So I can import a VBox. Exactly, that's just a flex box, but vertically. So that just makes sure that things are, from top to bottom. And so I can also use not only the native HTML elements, but also UI5 controls here.
Yeah, nice.
And then I can do all the things that I would do with the UI5 control as well, like set the native UI5 properties like title style or add style classes, and all the native UI5 APIs that and then that's pretty much setting up the game. And then I define the methods that you need to interact with the game, like start the game, and somewhere in here is the play thing, like the moving, like the background moves. So that's happening here as well. And then also the apply gravity. So that's what's pulling the little flying image down. So that's the methods that happen within the game. I also put them in the custom control as well. And then to kind of talk from the custom control to talk to outside the custom control, this might sometimes might be a little tricky because it's just a different scope and you just can't pass things around. You can either use the window object. For example, here I set the game state. I set that on the window, or I emit custom events, which is pretty cool as well. So I can dispatch custom events. So I just create a new event that's called end game, and I dispatch that to the window, and then I can have in my game controller. So for the right part of the flexible column layout, there's a controller for that. And I believe I listen to this end game thing here. Yeah. And that's where I listen to the end game event. And that's what will display and post the score, as you can see here, like posted. So that's how the communication works.
So the difference between this that you're just showing us right now and the window.gameState is window.gameState is just a global variable, right? Or a variable at
it's just exactly. Yeah, it's just a global to the window variable, but you won't know if it's changing, or like you would have to actively, get it, but you won't get an event fired if it changes. But you can also dispatch events on the window.
Gotcha. And I can see, are you using the convention there where you're having sort of, object internal functions beginning with underscore, meaning, conventionally don't call me?
Yeah, that's like whenever, I don't know if I use it, in the right way, but whenever I only use a method within this controller, then I do the underscore. So this post score is not called from anywhere else. That's just for my brain to know, okay, this is not fired when I press a button or anything like that. So it's not used in a view where it's just, only internal it could also be used somewhere else, but it's
That's
private
awesome.
to this controller.
Now, Michelle and I know that you've got to disappear very, very shortly because we've got our flying money game developer is in high demand in a backstage. So we got to say goodbye to Nico shortly. But I've got one more question. I noticed when you showed the game, I noticed URLs, and I think a lot of people in the chat also noticed the URL. So clearly this is deployed onto SAP Business Technology Platform. So tell us a little bit about, and you're highlighting there the clue that it's possibly Cloud Foundry. Tell us a little bit about how this is deployed and served.
Yeah, sure. So let me just collapse that. So I basically ran a UI5 build UI, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. So that's how I built the project. And then I set the destination to be this build folder, and in this build folder, that's the content I want to deploy, right? So that's the optimized build, best performance, etc. So, and then I have a manifest.yaml, which describes the way I want to deploy this to Cloud Foundry, basically. And I use the static file build pack right here, and that just statically serves a folder basically. And I say the path is, the build, and then this folder inside that build. and then I just say CF push. So this is not a multi-target application. That's also why it's pretty fast when you deploy. It only takes, maximum a minute or so. So yeah,
That's nice.
That's how I deploy it to Cloud Foundry.
So that's almost like in a good way, that is the simplest thing that could possibly work. You don't have any code that needs to be executed on the Cloud Foundry.
Exactly, it's just statically served. Yeah,
it's just
there's no app router. There's no user login from Cloud Foundry as far as Cloud Foundry concerns. There's only the connection to Firebase, and that's not really an authentication or anything. There's just you just say what your name is. So so that's the easiest way to guess to get a front end to work on Cloud, or to just have HTML code, or it could be anything really. It could also just be a CSS or whatever.
Yeah, it could be a picture of my face, which would be horrendous.
Yeah.
So, Nico, thanks. First of all, thanks so much for building this game for us. We're going to say goodbye to you in a second. But is there anything else you wanted to tell us about this? In fact, lots of people have been asking on the chat for the URL. I think Michelle did post the URL, but for some random reason, it got filtered out. But I think it's to do with the manager access or whatever. I have no idea. But as SAP developers, I've just posted the URL. That's the right one, is it? It's the one in SAP samples.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one that I sent. So I hope that's the correct one.
Yeah, excellent. So Javier was asking. Javier just said, "Don't see the URL yet," but I think it's to do with YouTube filtered it out because Michelle is logged in with a different user or something. I have no idea. Right, I have no idea.
So Fabulous. Sorry, I did send it. I promise.
Oh no, I'm sure you did. So, Nico, thanks so much for showing us and for giving us this game to play. And I'm super excited to see what Michelle's going to tell us now about how we're going to play it.
Yeah, one last thing. If you find any issues with this code, or if you maybe even feel like enhancing it, feel free to send a pull request, create issues in GitHub. I'm more than welcome to collaborate on this thing, and awesome. Curious to hear what you guys think.
Excellent. Thanks, Nico.
All right.
I'll
leave you guys.
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Wow, that was awesome, right?
Yeah, I'm so impressed with that. He said he was going to build a game, and less than a week later, he had all of that. It was really impressive, and it's so cool to see how it was built too.
Yeah.
I would have thought there would have been so much more to it, and it was.
I think it's also great to see. It's always nice to see examples of UI5 applications, right? But an application that's different and does different things in a different way, that also helps my brain learn a bit more about UI5 and
Oh yeah. It's always nice to see how you can use components and elements and all that stuff in different ways to create whatever you want. It's
exactly, yeah, whatever you want. It's really nice to see the boundaries pushed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michelle, do you want to tell us how we're going to do this? In fact, I've just noticed in the background, randomly, there's a hose pipe. And so I want to get off camera very quickly so I can get rid of that. I've no idea why that's there. But anyway, that's the random thing for Friday, a hose pipe in my background.
Happy Friday.
Michelle, tell us how we're going to play this, right?
All right. So all of us are actually going to be moving over to Discord. This seems like the best way to do it because there is a slight delay on YouTube, about 20 seconds, which makes it really hard to run a tournament like this. So in a minute here, I will actually be sending all of the links that everyone needs to go to the Discord, join the right channel, find all of the info. And what we will be doing is not actually a bracket style tournament. Like I had said that we were going to be running before, it's going to be a round robin tournament.
Oh, yes, that was my fault. Yes, I did know that, my fault.
Yeah, that's okay. It changed very last minute. This is because I want everyone to be able to play the game the entire time, not just be like me, eliminated at the very beginning and then just sitting there being like, I don't know what to do. So we're going to round robin it. The one who wins the most of their matchups will win the game. So yeah, it's basically you're going to get the highest score that you can in about 3 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes, I will give you a 1-minute heads up saying, hey, you got to finish your run or whatever, because in the minute I am going to pull all the scores, add them to our bracket or our score sheet, and then we'll start the next round again.
Cool.
Yeah. So let me go and get all of those links, and hopefully they actually send in the chat this time.
If they don't, you can just send them to me on the Zoom thing, and I'll put them in the chat.
Yes. All right.
Da-da-da.
Did you see that?
Oh, I just happen to be drinking out of my. So while you're finding those links, SAP Inside Track 2019, 5th anniversary.
Hey.
SAP Inside Track Frankfurt. For those in the know, sorry, that a bit of a tea stain on the bottom of the mug there. I'm going to clean up a bit. There we go. So let me go to chat just in case. More.
Right, I sent it. I don't think.
Oh yeah, here we go.
anyone
Right, let me
can
copy
see
that
it.
URL. Select all. Oh no, not select all. Let me go there. Copy that. Right, I'm going to paste the Discord. Oh, hold on, that didn't work. I
You
think
might need to go to Slack.
Yeah, but I think there's some weird security thing. Discord.gg, copy it from there. Right, there we go. Back again. Yeah, if you can't copy paste from Zoom chats for some
Super
ridiculous
weird.
reason. So
Super
that it was without the dash in, but I think it redirects anyway. There. Okay, so that link should be just appearing in the next 10 seconds or so on the chat. That is the link to Discord. So should we all go there into Discord?
Yes. In probably at the 30 minutes on the hour, because everyone is probably in a different time zone. I think that would be a great time for all of us to meet up. So I'm going to go ahead and move over there. I'm going to join the voice chat for the Flying Money Tournament group channel. So you'll see me in there. So feel free to join and we can all chat and talk to each other and get the whole tournament set up.
Cool. So you're talking about basically in about 3 minutes time. We'll see you over there.
Yes.
And we're gonna kill this. We're gonna finish this live stream here and all move over to Discord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's just make sure everybody's got that information before we go. So yeah, go to the Discord channel now. If you're in the live stream of this, we're gonna finish the live stream here. We're gonna go across to Discord. And yeah, see you there. I've just joined Discord and I feel quite modern because Discord is a bit confusing for me. I've not even pressed. See, I've not even pressed enter in the. I said hi there. I'm not even pressed enter. There we go. Hi there. Right. Okay. So thanks, Michelle. I'll see you in Discord. I'll see you all in Discord. And yeah. So goodbye from YouTube.
Bye. Hope to see y'all there.